In the words of Andy Gray, take a bow, son, take a bow. Well done, Agent Shankland. I'll see you on the other side. Well, not yesterday, actually, no, sorry, Saturday. It was all doom and it was gloom and it was negative and it was terrible and it was all awful and it just, was just so bad. And the league was over and we've blown it again. And now we come in here Monday morning with all the hope in the world. That's right. Hope is back. Hope is renewed. And it is renewed thanks to a fantastic result in the capital yesterday as Hearts beat Celtic 2-0 with a penalty from Grant and a goal from that man himself, Rangers daft, Agent Shankland, Lawrence Shankland getting the second. And there he is celebrating in front of the Green Brigade. He hates them, doesn't he? He proper hates them, Lawrence Shankland. I mean, we saw how he celebrated at Parkhead when he scored against them there. And there he is giving it 6-0, giving it large to the Green Brigade in front of them. Gotta love it. Gotta commend him. Agent Shankland, take a bow. And it's ironic, isn't it? That we kind of were all a bit like, oh, we should have signed Lawrence Shankland. We needed Lawrence Shankland. If we'd signed Shankland in January, we'd be winning the league by a canter this season. But it seems that Lawrence Shankland has actually done just as much for our league title bid by scoring the goals that he has for Hearts against them. He really has benefited Rangers with his goals for Hearts at Parkhead and his goals today at Tynecastle to put the men in green and grey to the sword. And what was even better was hearing the moaning and the whining and the whinging of Brenda after the game about the harsh sending off. Jesus, he took the guy's head off. How that is a harsh sending off, I will never know. And obviously the dodgy penalty, which was a penalty, but according to Brenda, of course, it's not a penalty, it's cheating, blah, 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 bullshit. And we had to listen to them yesterday, didn't we? Talking obviously about Ross McCausland's injury. We had to listen to them talking about the fact that Ross McCausland should have been sent off for that foul on KC. I even had comments like, oh, the only bad thing was that he wasn't injured more seriously. Shame he didn't take his head off, etc., etc. It really does show the kind of scum that inhabit the other side of Glasgow, doesn't it? It really does show them up to be what they actually are, which is brain dead mutants. Well, let's look ahead to this week and obviously a little look back as well. Now, I didn't think that coming out of the weekend, even though I know some of you did have some positive hopes that we would still be sat top of the league. Yes, that's right. There it is. There's the league in its full glory here on Monday, the 4th of March. It is Rangers top of the league, play 29, goal difference of 48. The goal difference has actually improved. We'll talk about that in a minute. Rangers 70 points, Celtic second on goal difference of 46, 68 points. Hearts third on 55 points, only 13 points behind Celtic. Come on, Hearts. Fourth, St Mirren. Fifth, Kilmarnock. Sixth, Hibernian. Seventh, Dundee. Motherwell, who beat us. Eighth, fuck knows how they did that. Ninth, St Johnstone. 10th, Aberdeen. Yes, the Neil Warner miracle has gone spectacularly wrong there. Ross County 11th and Livingston 12th. But even the goal difference has improved by one. So from the goal difference being +1 to Rangers, it's now actually +2. So +2 on the goal difference, +2 on the points, and obviously a massive week coming up again for Rangers. Now, no more league action for a little while. There's still now going to be a concentration on number one, the Europa League, and of course, going forward as well, Scottish Cup. Now, look, I want to sort of talk a little bit today about this past three games for Rangers and talk a little bit about my concerns that I've got going forward, my worries about what is going to happen going forward with this team. Now, obviously on the 7th, we play against Benfica away at the Estadio de la Luz in Lisbon, the Real Stadium of Light. Then it's the Cup quarter final on the Sunday the 10th against Hibs at Easter Road before a return to Ibrox for the second leg at that rather stupid kickoff time of 5:45, and then a home game against Dundee on the 17th. So we don't return to league action now for another, uh, let's see, 13 days now before we return at 12 o'clock on Sunday, the 17th of March, which is also incidentally my dog's birthday. There we go. So there we go. Now, we love the league, how the league looks. We love the fact we're top of the league still. We love the fact that Rangers are still 2 points clear. I must admit that seeing that result, and we can't get enough of it, obviously did put a smile on my face today. But, I want to just talk a little bit about a couple of concerns. Overall, it's a very positive picture. It's a very, very positive picture. Philippe Clement has worked wonders with this team. He has got this team playing some fantastic football. At times, he's got this team exactly where we need it to be. He's really got the team developing well. Now, that's all well and good. But I have a couple of concerns. Now, the game against Hearts was absolutely fantastic at Box. We absolutely blew them away. We came out from minute one. We went at them. We went after them. We were in their faces. We passed the ball quickly. We moved the ball well. I think, a little bit down to the fact that Hearts wanted to play football rather than just sit back and defend. But, that was kind of the height of it all, like the culmination of so many weeks of fantasticness, wasn't it? That we developed towards this one amazing performance where we smashed Hearts off the park with 5 brilliant goals. And then, I don't know about you, but the last two performances, have kind of been a slight bit worrying. We talk about the Kilmarnock game being a massive result, and it was an absolutely huge result. Don't get me wrong. Beating Killy 2-1 at home was absolutely huge. Was massive. That victory was amazing. Now, I'm not going to pretend that it wrong picture. I'm not going to pretend that it was the be all and end all. I'm not going to pretend it was a fantastic performance by Rangers on that Wednesday night, because it really genuinely wasn't. And it was really a case of the fact that that 3 moments of magic dug us out of the hole, didn't it? It was a wonder save by Jack Butland when we were 1-0 up from, I think it was from Armstrong maybe. Great save from Jack Butland, absolutely world class save from Jack Butland. And then obviously, point 2 was the Tav free kick, which was absolutely outstanding. In the way that he puts that over the wall, the way that even if the keeper gets a hand to it, realistically, he's left with absolutely no chance of saving that. So, hey, let's face facts. 2 moments of world classness, 2 moments of absolute class from 2 of our players dig us out of a hole. And then obviously moment 3 is the Tom Lawrence goal, a fantastic finish into the far corner. So, we were dug out of a hole by 3 moments of brilliance from 3 fantastic footballers, by Jack Butland, Tav, who now is on 122 goals, 21 goals this season with the penalty he scored against Motherwell on Saturday. And that took us out of the hole, didn't it? But overall, that Kilmarnock display was exceptionally disappointing. The first half, again, was a slow start, just like Saturday against Motherwell. It was an overall a performance that lacked any pace, lacked any urgency, lacked any real lacked any real, genuine forward push. And it was worrying. That was worrying. But then we go into the game against Motherwell, and we obviously think Saturday home, Motherwell, let's put them to the sword. Let's smash them up. Let's, show that Kilmarnock game was just a case of it was tough at Kilmarnock. It was a horrible pitch. It was an awful night. They were a physical team, yada, yada, yada. But then we go out and put on that display on Saturday where it was genuinely very, very poor. Now, there was a number of factors I thought really did contribute to that. Number one was the way we played the ball, again, too slow, allowing their team, their low block to go into place. Number 2, our defending was absolutely shocking. I mean, the fact that we allowed them to break on us so many times in the second half. Yes, we had dominance, but it wasn't until the last 10 minutes we really put their goal under pressure. You look at the chances between minute 45 and minute 80, the majority of good quality chances falls to Motherwell. And they were lucky not to score another one of their chances. So, and also the fact that Bear, their centre forward, was made to look like prime Erling Haaland by our defence today. He really did run the game. So overall, it was a very poor performance. But I'm going to talk about. I'll admit, look, I'm a fan of John Sousa. I like John Sousa. I think he's a good. Personally speaking, he didn't have the best game again. He was at times. He got caught out again for the goal. He got caught out with that ball down the side. He was over eager to go and win the ball, which means he gets caught out, etc., etc. But it wasn't just him. It wasn't just him. I thought, the majority of the defending on Saturday was very poor. Connor Goldson, another one exceptionally poor again on Saturday. And Connor Goldson escapes so much criticism at times. I'm not saying that. Look, before anyone gets on my back and slaughters me, or anyone gets on my back and says you hate Connor Goldson, blah blah blah. I don't hate Connor Goldson. That's a fact. I don't. But what I am saying is, look at his performances since the winter break, and you can probably pick one, possibly two games out of those games where he's actually done any good, where he's actually been a decent player for us. And I was listening to another podcast on Sunday. I was out walking the dog, and one of the guys commenting on that said, "I think you can put that down to a one-off from Connor Goldson." And my immediate thought was, "What the fuck have you been watching, mate? Since the winter break? Have you actually been watching the Rangers game since the winter break? He's been absolutely shocking in the vast majority of games since the winter break. He's been poor. He's given away the same goal 4 times this season." He's just not played well at all, and he goes out there thinking he's prime Franco Baresi, and yet plays more like, I don't know, prime Donkey Kong. He just, I don't know, it was poor, utterly poor from Goldson. Now, I don't think for a minute that Phil Clement will drop to Connor Goldson. I think if anyone's going to get dropped for the next game in Scotland, it will be Liam. It will be obviously will be Suter for Balogun. Obviously, Balogun can't play in Europe because he's not in the European squad. But I would be dropping Connor Goldson. I really would. The guy needs a kick up the arse. He needs a rocket. He needs something because he's fucking shocking at the moment. He really is. Sorry to swear, but he is absolutely awful at the moment. Now, I think another reason that has really caught up with us just recently has been the injuries. Yes, that is another thing that's really started catching up, and hopefully that injury to Ross McCausland is not serious, although Ross has been struggling for form, and I don't want to criticise Wee Ross. I love Wee Ross. I think the criticism he gets from some of our fans is bang out of order, but overall, he has not been great the last few games. I think he's starting to look a bit tired, a bit fatigued. I think he needs a rest. But I do think the absence of these two is really being felt. Todd Cantwell has been just fantastic since the winter break, since he's come back. And I think we're really missing his career as well as Tom Lawrence has done it. But I didn't think Tom was that great when he came on Saturday. I genuinely think we're missing his creativity. Diamande couldn't fulfill that role. Silva obviously possibly could. I'd be interested to see if Silva can do it against Benfica. That could be an option to play Silva as the 10 and Destas as the 9. I'll get to Cyril Destas shortly. But Cantwell, I think, is a real big miss for me. His creativity, his spontaneity, but not just that. It's the way he leads the press, the way that he leads from the front. And when he gets on the ball around the box, he's the man that can unlock. He's the man that can create. He's the man that can do something with that ball. And I think we're really missing his creativity. Also, Cortez, I think, Cortez has come in, and without Cantwell, we kind of missed that creative spark. And Cortez had kind of taken the baton on a little bit and kind of led the team on and filled the Cantwell hole, even coming from out wide. But with having Cortez missing as well for these last few games, I think is really being felt. And look, it's nothing against Ross McCausland or Dujon Sterling. I think, neither of them are particularly, Ross, I think, needs a break. I think Dujon Sterling's not really a winger. You get look at that left side. Matondo is missing. He is back training, so hopefully he can be back in the reckoning soon. Seema is out until April, and now Cortez is out. We've lost a lot of creativity, a lot of talent from that wing. And, any team would struggle when they lose 3 wingers, when they lose 3 players who can fill that left-hand side role. So I do think the injuries have really started to catch up with us. And Phil Clement, and the medical staff are going to have to work exceptionally hard to find either someone to replace them or someone to step up, next man up, or to get one of these guys back ASAP and fulfilling a role out there. And it might be that when Rabbi comes back, we can use Rabbi. Rabbi has had a mixed bag in terms of performances, but having someone out there who's more a natural winger, more a natural left-sided player to play up there is better than having someone that you're shoehorning into that position who perhaps can't. Things that obviously concerns me though about the injury to these two is yet again the injuries that have been sustained again have been down to refs failing to protect creators. And Cantwell, Cantwell was kicked off the park in that St Johnstone game. As Phil Clement said, those kicks, those fouls contributed to his injury. Oscar Cortez against Kilmarnock, again, kicked off the pitch by thuggery behaviour. Again, injuries to creative players because referees are failing to protect creative players. And that, for me, is a major issue. Now, if we're going to develop the Scottish product as a game, if we're going to attract the best players to our game, then we've got to start to protect some of these creative players and not allow them to be kicked all over the park by thugs, pub footballers, like we saw against St Johnstone and against Killy. Guys, yes, injuries are causing concern. Dessers, I thought, was shocking on Saturday. Again, look, I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it is when it matters, when the pressure's on, when he's through one-on-one, when it really is, the pressure is on him, he just seems to go to pieces. And what really concerns me and worries me is in games where we need him to be that man, to step up and take that chance against that lot on the 7th of April in Europe against Benfica. It worries me that he's not going to do that. I thought he was really poor on Saturday. I thought the whole team were poor, if I'm being honest. Ridvan, for me, was the only one who looked remotely decent. Again, tested the goalkeeper with a few chances. Crosses were fairly good. I mean, his defending wasn't great, but he was probably the best of a very bad bunch on Saturday, if I'm being honest. But I thought Dessers, again, awful. And it just concerns me going forward, the lack of a real finisher. Yes, we had a number of shots cleared off the line. Yes, we missed a number of chances being blocked before they hit, blocked as well. And I thought their goalkeeper Kelly had a great game as well. But again, it's a lack of a clinical finisher, a lack of someone to put the ball in the back of the net when the pressure is really on. And I'm not saying Silva's the answer, because I thought he missed an easy chance as well. But Dessers, again, one-on-one, bottles it, and that's a real worry. Look, overall, the picture is positive. It is positive, but there are causes for concern. There are causes for things we need to put right. Now, I think Thursday is a bit of a free hit. No one really expects us to go to Benfica and get a result. Although it'd be just like this Rangers team to actually go there and actually beat them, because it's the sort of thing we do. I mean, no one expects us to get a result in Seville against Betis. So, it could very well happen. Now, I'm not, look, this is not the video I really wanted to make this morning or this afternoon or this evening. And, I'm sure by now some people have turned off and are already be slagging me off in the comments. And that's fine. If you want to slag me off, please feel free, slag me off. But I am slightly concerned about these last two performances in terms of the way we've played. And what we need to see against Hibs in the Cup on Sunday, it is Rangers getting back to the Rangers that we saw against Hearts, the Rangers that we'd seen in the build-up to that Hearts game, where we were moving the ball a bit quickly, where we were starting from minute one, where we were, getting after teams and getting in teams' faces. And that's what we need to start to see on Sunday against Hibs. I think Thursday is pretty much a free hit, if I'm being wholly honest. And then obviously back in the league on the 17th, again, we need to see a real performance where we step it up, we go after people, and we really attack. And we play that game we can play, like the game we played against Hearts at Ibrox, where we beat them 5-0. That's what we need to see from this team. But I'm not saying that this team is awful. I'm not saying that we're not going to win the league. That's not what I'm saying by any stretch of the imagination. But what I am raising is a few points of concern, which I think everyone has started. A few fans, people who really watch and understand the game, are starting to raise as points for concern. And we do need to think about that. And we do need to see a response from these players. Now, I've got no doubt in my mind, Phil Clement will have got this across to the players, and he will be telling them this is what he wants to see over the next few games. Thursday is absolutely massive. Of course it is. But like I said, it's a bit of a free hit. It is the Hibs game on the Sunday in the Cup that we really need to go out there and show that we are back to what we were. We've been handed a golden opportunity going forward in the league as well by that fantastic result for Hearts today. We need to capitalise on that. Let's do that. Let's get back to what we were doing. Let's get back to the Rangers that we were, not the Rangers we've seen in the last couple of games. Well, guys, I'd love to know your thoughts, your comments down below. Please smash them out. And as always, please, on the way out, there's two things I always ask of you. Number one is to smash the like. And number two is always remember, never forget, we are the people.